Okay, so this video I'm gonna be talking about this Lenovo T480 ThinkPad laptop. Definitely one of the most hyped, beloved, talked about laptops in recent memory, especially in like the budget or bang for your buck category. I want to break down why I decided to purchase this, how I've been using it the past couple of months, and also just really bring home why I think it's still such a very good value proposition, even in the year 2025, especially if you're buying one of these secondhand refurbished models like I did. So I think a lot has been said about ThinkPads online. There are a ton of videos about it, but I just wanted to kind of share my opinion and hopefully help anyone who's making a decision about finding a new laptop make that decision. Okay, let's start off with why I decided to purchase this laptop. So the main thing for me is I was really looking for a machine that I could dedicate to just personal project work that I've been working on. So I'm doing a lot of writing. I'm trying to figure out, what I want to do with a lot of the free time that I have. Part of that's going to go to YouTube. Part of that's going to just be working on this book that I've been kind of thinking about. And I found that in my current setup, or the previous one that I had prior to purchasing this, I had the MacBook, I had the Mac Mini, and it was very, very difficult for me to stay just on focus with what I had. Everything was connected to everything, right? I was getting texts on my laptop when I was trying to focus. I was checking emails, I was scrolling through things or opening apps that I didn't honestly need to. So that just got me thinking about, okay, what can I do to just separate myself from all of that? And it made me think about how things used to be without, all the cloud tech that we have nowadays and everything being automatically linked and synced. And I decided, what if I just had a laptop that is still a modern day laptop, but I only did work on. I didn't install anything else on. I didn't even sign into like my email accounts on. And that's what led me to this purchase right here. Again, it's very much intended to be like a device for focus. I decided to go with PC rather than the Macs that I've been using, just because number one, I wanted, again, that separation, like I'm saying, between the work that I'm doing and everything else that's going on. And then number two, you're just gonna get a much better bang for your buck on the used market for some of these devices, especially like the ThinkPads. So yeah, I'll talk about what I like about this device in particular first. So number one, you get this like very simple, utilitarian, almost boring design, which I think a lot of ThinkPad fans have really come to love and cherish in a lot of ways. This is, like the laptop that your dad would use, that he would get from work, and is not intended to do anything but business stuff, right? So I bought this refurbished on eBay for $180, which is a very, very good deal. It was through Newegg, which is, I knew as a reputable seller and refurbisher, so I decided to go with them and had a bunch of coupons on their eBay account that I was able to apply and get that discounted. I don't think they have this specific model on the site anymore, but definitely if you're looking for a ThinkPad in particular, I would say check eBay first and foremost, because it is like a boring business machine. They made a lot of them, right? And a lot of them didn't actually see that much use. So this specific model that I got is in pretty pristine condition. I didn't have to do any cleanup or anything when I purchased it, and the battery is in good health. Fans all work. I had no issue when I booted it up and everything was ready to go. So I love it. I love it for what it is, right? You're not going to get too many frills. The main thing with this specific model, which I believe is a 2018 model, so it's actually a little older than my current MacBook, but because it's a completely clean device with, a new OS installed, it's running very fast and snappy. I am a big fan of the I/O, so you don't need to worry about ports. There's HDMI, USB-A, USB-C, Ethernet. There's an SD card compartment. So super just usable, right, out of the box, which is one of the big things I think that people really love about these ThinkPads. Next up, talking about like focus, right? I honestly think that the fact that the screen and the speakers on this are, to be perfectly frank, like not good, right? It's actually helpful when I'm doing work or writing on this to not feel distracted, because you don't have this crazy refresh rate, you don't have like super clear retina display or whatever. And in a lot of ways, it feels like the laptops that you would use, you know, in school when you're growing up and actually doing work. And it's not meant to be an enjoyable experience particularly, but it gets you to where you need to get to, right? Okay, now let's walk through how I've set this up. Like I said earlier, this is intended to be like super utilitarian as a device. I want to just be doing work on this and not necessarily installing a bunch of apps or software. So you'll notice that it's super minimalist, and it's a very clean slate of a laptop. It's running Windows 11. Looking at this, you wouldn't think so. It looks like it's Windows XP, and I'm going to talk about why I did that and how I did that. So like I said, I've been on Mac for a while now. The last Windows operating system I used was, I want to say, like Windows Vista in 2009, 2010, something crazy like that. So buying this and booting up Windows 11, it was just very jarring. The UI made no sense to me. A lot of things popped up that I didn't find to be helpful. So I went through and disabled a lot of things that, you know, like the news bubbles and all that stuff that they've kind of added in, just so that I can get to what I need to get to, right? I just need a simple machine, and it made me nostalgic in a lot of ways for the older way that computers used to be. So I looked into ways that you could get a aesthetic that's similar to, you know, Windows XP and earlier iterations of Microsoft, which led me to this cool app called RetroBar, which is what I set up. So threw in that nice Bliss Windows XP, you know, classic wallpaper, and installed this application on the computer. So if you pull it up, you'll notice that the start bar itself is the Windows XP start. But if you wanted to actually pull something up, it's Windows 11, right? But to me, this is just very comforting. I feel like I know what to do when I see this screen, and I feel like I'm ready to work, which is what I really appreciate. But RetroBar itself is really cool. I just wanted to kind of plug this app. It's, I think, a completely like open source, fan-made application. So I have it set up for Windows XP, but you can go back to like Windows 95 if this is more your vibe. You got a sense, see that bar change. You can make a lot of modifications in this preferences area, and I'll drop a video that I use to actually set this up if you're interested in doing something similar on your Windows 11 machine. But they've got like everything, right? So you can go back to Windows Vista, like I was saying, which is what I used to use. You got that old bar. Yeah, again, this is just purely aesthetic for me. I just like the way it looks. If you're in a similar boat and you want kind of that like retro, older style on your Windows 11 machine, definitely take a look at RetroBar. You can do a lot of cool stuff. Like even the scale of the taskbar, you can just pop up for whatever reason, if you want it smaller, if you want it bigger. There's just a level of customization that you don't see Microsoft offer anymore. In terms of other software, the only things I really have installed are LibreOffice, which is an open source office suite. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of writing on this machine, and I've been using their Writer application, which is very, very close to Microsoft Word. I think it does everything that you need to do. Completely free, no subscription, no activation keys or anything like that. And I found it to be perfect for my needs. So I'll typically do a lot of writing here. It's very nice to do the actual act of saving a document and then having to intentionally move it from this machine to another drive when I feel confident and happy with what I've produced. And yeah, you know, like I said, it's really about, I think, developing a level of focus and intentionality with your technology that can hopefully help it work more for you versus the other way around, right? I think nowadays a lot of what we have to do with tech becomes almost feedback loopy, where you're putting in more than you're getting out of it. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just trying to find ways to step back in the tools that I'm using in order to get to where I want to get to. Okay, so final thoughts on the T480. The reason why I got this model in particular over all the other ThinkPads that are out there, and Lenovo's made a lot, even before then the IBM ones that are even older and in some ways more sought after. This was the most future-proof version of the laptop that I was looking for, that I could be confident would last me a number of years, primarily, that was still very, very modular and repairable, right? So you can change the RAM out. I can upgrade the RAM to 32 gigabytes if I want to. Each piece that breaks, for the most part on this machine, I won't have to worry about sending in somewhere to repair. It's very simple to just open up and repair myself. And lastly, as time goes by, right, it's harder and harder to find good condition electronics. So the fact that I was able to find a 2018 laptop that is still, in many ways, almost spotless was a huge plus in my book. So if you're like me and you're looking for something that fits those needs, is in a very, very affordable price range for the amount of power and function that you can get out of one of these machines, I would definitely look into the T480. Otherwise, there are other models of the ThinkPad that could be a little bit more down your alley, or other laptops in general that could fit your needs better. But for what I was looking for, in the price range that I was looking for, because I wasn't looking to spend a lot of money, this certainly meets the hype for me and was worth it, and I've been loving it the past couple of months that I've had it. Yeah. Oh, last thing. It's USB-C charging. The older models are not. So to me, that was huge, because I have a Lenovo charger that I can use, but in a pinch, I can charge with my MacBook chargers as well. But yeah, that's basically it. Again, if you have questions about this specific laptop, how I've been using it, the RetroBar app, definitely drop them in the comments, let me know. But overall, I am very happy with it. I'll probably do an update in a couple of months when I've gotten a little bit more use out of it. But so far, I see and I believe and I understand why so many people are so into this laptop. All right, bye.